I've always generated most of my leads online. So, direct mail previously, before the internet was what it is today. But ever since then, I've generated most of my leads online. So that's through Google search engines and now social media primarily. In fact, Pinterest has now become my #1 source on 4 out of 5 of my websites. Real estate #1 is still Google, and YouTube is third on about all 3 of them. So obviously there's a trend here in what works. Now, what I'm seeing scares me where it comes to real estate, right? And I've talked about this before. So if you guys are real estate agents, you might appreciate this. Nobody wants to be scared. We all want good news, but I think we have to be watching what's happening with the real estate industry. We would be fools not to be paying attention to what's happening with iBuyers and iSellers and Zillows and Redfins and everybody that's really trying to displace the real estate agent. I think that it's important that we're paying attention to this. Now, I am so grateful today in 2019 that I've done the work that I've done on my real estate website, because I had no idea of how I was going to be able to monetize that website outside of real estate, how I was going to be able to make money on that outside of sales. So I'm so grateful that I did the work, and I want to tell you guys that it's not too late to do something similar or jump in. I was watching last night I was watching a speaker. This is what I do when I'm going to sleep. I'm watching YouTube speakers on Google SEO. And the topic was around Google's new quality guidelines. And here's what I believe. I believe real estate agents don't focus on ranking their websites more because it's hard. I mean, it is. It does take some, it does take some work. There's no instant gratification. Like if you run an ad and you get 10 leads on Facebook, you're thrilled to death, right? But SEO takes longer. And ultimately, I think real estate agents have been told that SEO is dead, or they believe that it's too late. We've been beat by Zillow. We've been beat by all of the other realtor.coms and whatnot. So it's too late for us to do SEO. And I want to challenge that and say, it's really not. Yes. Is it going to be virtually impossible for you to go out and rank for San Diego homes for sale and beat out all of those top guys? Yeah, that's going to be really, really challenging. Okay, I won't say anything's impossible, but that would be really, really challenging. But could you rank for homes for sale in such and such neighborhood in San Diego with a mother-in-law quarters? Yes, absolutely. But I want to talk about something beyond that, because I've been talking about building neighborhood pages forever and ever. And I now realize there was something I was doing even better that I really hadn't understood the payoff until now that I'm actually seeing it. And that was that I started geographic farming online really when I started my real estate website. So, and I've restarted my real estate website over several times. So there's a great example of it's never too late. And this hyper-local blogging and marketing is what I really want to talk about. So last night on the show that I was watching, the speaker, we were really focused on the acronym E.A.T, E-A-T. And this is part of Google's quality rating system. So Google is now really focused on ranking quality pages to a search query. When somebody performs a search term, they want to return the best possible result for that search term. And they're doing this through quality guidelines. And thank God for that, because it's so much harder now to game the search engines. We really have to be focused on creating great content. But even more, this new E.A.T basically stands for expertise, authority or authoritativeness, hate that word, and trust. And Google has thousands and thousands and thousands of humans. Believe it or not, you could actually apply to be one of these humans. Humans that, well, you don't have to apply to be a human, but you might have to apply to be one of the rating guideline raters. These humans rate websites and blogs, and they assign a quality score. And what happens is these quality scores then go back to Google, and Google builds it into their algorithm to improve search, okay? And when we were really diving into what quality is, one of the things that came up that I really want to hit home on today, this is the big one, has to do with the author of the article and the author of the website. And I think the small guys can benefit from some of this if we really pay attention to what it is, okay? So basically what's happening is Google has been rewarding websites based on their relevancy in the past, okay? So somebody with a high-rise website might rank higher when somebody does a search for high-rise condos than just the jack-of-all-trades real estate website. So Lori Ballen has ballenvegas.com, and Joe Schmo has Joe Schmo Las Vegas high rises. When somebody types in Las Vegas high rise or 2-bedroom Las Vegas high rise or high rise on the strip, Joe Schmo is likely to rank higher because his website is all about high rises. So the smaller you are, the more focused you are, typically the better you'll do with Google as far as relevancy. Well, now we've taken this a whole nother layer with this authorship. Now, I'm not referring to Google authorship like we had back in the day, although that's still alive and well behind the scenes. Google is now looking at those of us that create content as authors, and it's gauging our expertise on what people are saying about us on the internet. So reviews, somebody referencing us as an expert. So for example, when somebody says, hey, who do you know in Las Vegas that's a real estate agent? People say Lori Ballen. That is that's a positive thing for me because it's now showing Google, hey, Lori Ballen really is about real estate, right? And so that's just one example. In all of the forums, if you're not looking at forums like Quora, Quora.com, Quora, which is free, and looking to answer people's questions, you're missing an opportunity because that is another way where you could prove relevance as an author. Well, why is this important? Because we're going to be pushed out by all of the portals. And let me just tell you something, the brokerages too. I mean, I'm a Keller Williams agent, but if you don't think I realize what's happening even at Keller Williams and everywhere else, I'm not blind. I mean, they are going to be the authority, okay? Not us, the real estate agent. The brokerage becomes the authority. And we need to make sure as agents that we are claiming our territory and that we are guarding it with everything that we have. Imagine if iBuyers and iSellers really, really does become a prevalent thing. And every day I turn on my computer, I'm seeing more and more news around which brokerage is buying this technology company and which one is, they're all doing it. They're all buying CRMs. They're all buying technology. They're all putting their money into, why? There's a reason for this because the writing is on the wall that the buyers and sellers are going to eventually be buying and selling homes through websites, right? It's eventually going to happen. There's going to come a point where they say, oh, well, it's just easier. Especially look at millennials. They don't want to talk to us, right? I'm not even a millennial and I don't want to talk to us. They want to get all the information online. They don't want anybody else involved until they absolutely have to be involved. if they don't have to call a real estate agent to drive around and look at houses because the lock boxes have a code that they can just enter and get in, or they can scan with their phone, they're not going to call a real estate agent, right? And I think the more and more technology moves towards this direction, including our brokerages, the more at risk real estate agents are. So how do we stake our claim? How do we protect our territory? It's by becoming local specialists. And I know this sounds old school, but hardly anybody's doing it, you guys. I'm online all the time. I'm looking up .coms all the time. I have the top of the line SEO tools. I can see every keyword you rank for. I can see every keyword your brokerage ranks for. I can see how much traffic comes from what. And I'm telling you, real estate agents as a general rule just aren't doing much on the local front. They put up a website and they have search widgets and they go, okay, here's my website. But how easy is it to be a local specialist? Oh my gosh, is it easy? It really is easy. So one of the things that I started doing when I first built BallenVegas.com, and I think Ballen Vegas, that particular platform, has been around for maybe 5 years, I'm going to say. We were on a different one before that. I used the Keller Williams websites before that. Before I went full WordPress, my own development and all of that, I was using brokerage websites. And you really can rank on almost anything if it's viewable to Google. But I wanted to own my own website so that no matter what happens, I have control. That matters to me. If I were to switch brokerages, which I'm not doing, but I did that once, so I know. I want my website to move with me. I want to have control over it. So back in the day, I started blogging about hyper-local stuff because my thought was, all right, geographic farming, right? We all talk about how important it is to be seen in your neighborhood, how important it is to be an authority on the local houses and what's happening in the neighborhood. Well, why is that any different online? It isn't. People still want to know that you know the area, right? And people do search local constantly. All right, so here's what happens. In recent years, Google created an algorithm that basically tracks, as long as the person's logged into Google, which we almost all are all the time now. If you've got Gmail, if you've got Chrome, if you're signing into YouTube, any of these things, you're probably logged into Google. And once you are, it tracks what you're doing, okay? So if somebody goes to Google and they perform a search query, they type in a keyword, they're looking for something, that's a query. And then Google returns a list of results, right? That's called a SERP. Search engine results page. Google starts tracking from that moment what the person is doing once they click on the search engine result on the website that they pick. So Google tracks, okay, do they bounce back to the search engine and perform another search? That's really bad. Do they stay on this website a little bit a while? Do they click on anything? Do they view multiple pages? And then it's basically creating a quality score for your web page and that search result and connecting it to that person. And it's kind of like when you go into, when you log on to YouTube, when you go onto YouTube and let's just say you Google how to steam clean your carpet, and you watch this guy and you really like the way the guy explains how to steam clean carpet, and then a week later, you're looking up something about, oh gosh, I use the most terrible examples. You're looking at how to hang window curtains, and you come across this guy again. Well, now, and you watch his video. Now Google believes that YouTube believes you find this guy valuable. So even if you don't subscribe to his channel, you don't comment, you don't share, you don't do anything, YouTube starts serving that person up to you on your homepage. Okay? It's fascinating to actually watch. Well, Google's the same way. Even if that person landed on your website and they didn't look at houses, or they weren't there for real estate at that time, Google now believes that your website's more valuable to them than possibly Zillow or your competitor or somebody else, and is now more likely to serve up your web pages to that searcher the next time they go look. So the more times we can get them to land on our website, the more likely we are to be presented when they do search homes for sale in Las Vegas with the mother-in-law quarters. So there is a major reason to start getting these people on our websites. I don't want them on the Keller Williams website. I want them on my website. And I want to have control over that and be able to work to provide value to that person so that obviously I'm the one that they choose to work with. Now, there's some other advantages to this, okay? One would be what I just explained, that memory that happens in there, okay? Two, you can show IDX listings, and sometimes they happen to be looking at houses. Or you could put in a home value offer. I get, I don't know, I get a dozen leads every single day. They're like seller home valuation tools. And there's a low conversion rate, but it's there and it's available for people to do that search. The better conversion comes off of the ones who actually search things about selling a house. The other ones are more like just curious, right? But through those things, you can be building a mailing list. And people tell you email is dead. It is so not dead. A strong mailing list still has massive value in 2019 as long as we're providing that person with something that's relative to them and is of quality to them. Then those emails still have value. We could be creating local guides, your home seller guide, your home buyer guide, how to invest in Las Vegas, right? So we've got all of that still happening. And guys, that is where we beat the big guys because they're doing all of the generic stuff. You know, how to flip a house, how to buy a house, how to sell a house. They're not talking about things that are specific to Las Vegas. What matters to us? We want to talk about the scorpions that are invading our houses, right? Because that is not a national problem, but it might be something that is happening here in Las Vegas. Retirement and 55 plus communities and how we live in Vegas might be very different to what's happening in the United States. So it's important that we're keeping things incredibly local. Creating real estate market reports is easy. It's gold. The data's in our MLS and very few real estate agents are doing it. But I'm going to give you now this next layer of payoff. Okay. And this is huge. So I generate my leads through my real estate website, and I don't actually work with clients. I've been licensed since 2007. I'll renew my license again this year, but I have not worked with a client since 2010. I have not met a client since 2010. And I've got agents on my team that work with them, and I just do all the lead gen. So that's one advantage, quality of life. And some of those come off the internet, and a lot of those come off of social media, getting to know agents, them sending referrals to Vegas, that kind of thing, which I always appreciate. And so do David and Krista on my team. But what's happening is, because I started building all of these hyper-local things, I started ranking really, really high for things related to Vegas, which in turn tells Google that I'm the authority on Las Vegas, which makes all of my real estate articles and whatnot rank higher as well. So now that Google has this quality guideline, because I put in all that Las Vegas stuff, I'm now ranking higher for everything else, right? But then I thought to myself one day, what if I turned on, I get so much traffic on this website. What if I put some ads on it? And overnight, $500 a month. And we're just getting started. And I only have like 40% of the ad space even being used right now. Overnight, right? And then I said, well, let me go into some of these blogs and put in some items that might interest them, such as Groupon, Travelocity, Expedia, things about travel or visiting Vegas. Let me put in TaskRabbit or a handyman code or an Instacart coupon. Let me see if if I can give them something to do with their cable or their direct TV, since I rank so high for Las Vegas utilities. And all of a sudden, I'm making money here, 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 and here. Last night, right before I went to bed, I checked Groupon, and I've only been on Groupon for a week, and there was a $70 sale. Now I get 10% of that, so it's $7, right? but it was the first one because I just got Groupon on, and I was over the moon excited. And Groupon doesn't have the greatest tracking, but I could tell based on the price what it was because of what I had put on the website just the day before. And what had happened is somebody had Googled things to do for Mother's Day, and I had added Groupons to a few of my spa listings, the spa packages. And even though more of the clicks are going on the restaurants, somebody bought one of the Groupon spa packages, and that's why I get that money. But imagine this at scale. Imagine if you had the traffic and all of your pages had some kind of item of value that person would find interesting. All the time I'm selling things like on my how to keep bugs off a screen door, I sell this citronella bug spray almost every day, every other day. I checked it. It's every other day for a fact. The St. Joseph statue, because I rank for how to bury the St. Joseph statue. I sell those statues every day, right? Imagine what that looks like at scale when we're blogging about real estate, but we're also blogging about things to do around the house. We're blogging about, the airport, Uber. I'm an affiliate now for Uber. So telling them how to catch an Uber. This morning I did 2 blogs. I did one on the Las Vegas monorail system, and I did one on the Deuce buses that are downtown on the Strip area, and then I went and found affiliate relationships that would link into those. Now I did something else really cool this week, and I became a tiny house affiliate. And we have both tiny house and tiny house on wheels, the tiny house trailers, but an affiliate basically just means that you apply with these brands and say, hey, I would like to market your houses. I'd like to market your tiny houses. I'd like to market your tiny house water heaters or your furniture or your housing plans, that kind of thing. And I got approved for, I don't know, over a dozen different ones that day. And I started putting all of these. I rank high for tiny house from one blog that I did. And I thought, geez, if I'm getting all this traffic over to tiny house, I should become a tiny house affiliate and start thinking about that. I mean, what this kind of world does is it provides job security. It provides a future if something happens with real estate sooner than we'd like it to. If the changes turn out to be as dramatic as I predict they're going to be, and I don't know at what point. Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 20 years? I have no idea. Is it going to affect us? Is it going to affect our children? Is it going to put our grandchildren out of place of ever becoming real estate agents? I don't know. But the writing's on the wall that we know this is happening. The technology's there and it's happening. And the less and less real estate agents are brought into the process, the more the technology is just consider to move us. But if you build a blog, if you build a website, if you build a YouTube channel that is generating traffic that you can monetize in other ways, what does that do for your life, right? So you're accomplishing the goal, which is to be the real estate specialist. You're accomplishing the goal, which is to be the local specialist. And you're now building an asset that can be sold, that can be monetized in so many ways. I'm going to be continuing to test all of the great ways because I'm finding new things every single day, and it just blows my mind. It's like, I don't know, I get more excited now when I have an Amazon affiliate sale than I do when I get a real estate lead because of what it means in the bigger scheme of things, right? Of course, I still want the real estate leads and real estate sales. We just had a closing today for Lori Ballen team in Vegas, and I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited about this other thing. Now, let me just tell you where it comes to real estate agents, something that's really important with Google, and that is to go out there and get those reviews. My team, I have not asked much of my team, not this version of my team. I've had various versions. In this model, I've had agents now with me for a few years now in this new model, and I generate the leads, they go work with the clients, and I collect a referral fee, basically. I mean, it's my team, but it's not 50-50. It's more like a 70-30. It is 70-30, 30 to me, 70 to them. Now, I don't carry any costs, so I don't I don't provide admin. I don't do anything. They do all of that stuff on their own. The only thing I do is lead gen. Period. End of story. There is nothing else. That is what I do. They can use whatever systems they want. They can do that. And it's a great relationship, and it works really well for us. But the one thing that I did ask from them, and I really drilled it into them, as I said, you guys, besides just representing Lori Ballen team, obviously at a high level, and Keller Williams, of course, it's important to me that you get reviews, because no matter what happens, those reviews live on forever, and their credibility and their authority, and customers are going to look them up, but so does Google. They're listening for this stuff. They're listening for that language. So it's super important, and it almost doesn't matter, although I would tell you that I think putting all your reviews into Zillow is a mistake. I think you should have more control over that, but I like to have reviews on Google, on my local business place on Google, the Google My Business place. I like to collect reviews there more than anywhere else, and mainly because they live on Google. They're shown on Google, and I have more control over that than I do if they're just on Zillow or Yelp or something like that. I also like to collect them on Facebook business pages, and then we put them on our own website. So here's what I'm going to say to you. If you have any care in the world that you should show up on Google when anybody does a search for your name, for your brand, for your website, for anything generic in your area, you've got to go totally jazz up your about page. If you do nothing else, start with that, okay? Your about page on Google is the page that if somebody, it's not your home page. It's the page if somebody said, what is Lori Ballen about? Who is Lori Ballen Realtor? Whatever. This is the page they go to where they look at our authority. You got to keep in mind, if a seller is calling you for a listing presentation, they're probably Googling you too. And they look at whatever is online, what's on the web, right? And if they come across your about page, that's where you have the opportunity to talk about problems that you've solved, homes that you've sold, your real estate statistics, where you rank matters. Like I've always put top 1% of local Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors, because it shows them that's our main focus, right? It shows them that we're working real estate agents. It's not to brag that, hey, I'm better than everybody else. It's to show them this is what I do. I'm a real estate agent. And those are the reasons for that. I usually will advertise like listing to sold stats, days on market, list price to close price ratio, 98.8% or whatever. Those are just kind of some of those things. But now's the chance for you to put in, what are your designations? Where have you been featured? Have you been on the news being interviewed about real estate? Have you been on your broker panels, your local board, or do you serve on the Women's Council of Realtor or the Men's Association or the this is the opportunity for that, because not only are the buyers and sellers watching, but Google's watching for this also. Now, be very careful if you are one of those people that is allowing other people to blog on your website. You're allowing guest bloggers to either pay you or you're just allowing them to blog. If Google believes that they're writing about an important topic that could affect the visitor and they're not viewed as an expert, that E.A.T score is going to come into play, and you're going to have problems with that content. And that content will be considered low value content, which could affect your whole website. So you don't want to have this thin, irrelevant, or inappropriate content on your website if Google believes that you are not an authority. Now, what's an authority? Personal experience can be an authority. So for example, my keto website. So I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor, but I have a website all about the ketogenic diet. I stick primarily to weight loss. And I don't do a lot of topics on medically related. In fact, most of the time, even when my own coaching clients ask me about something medically related, I'll refer them to their doctor. That isn't my area of specialties. I can tell you how the diet works. I can tell you how I lost weight. I can tell you the benefits that keto had for me. but I can't tell you how keto is going to affect you if you don't have a gallbladder. I just don't usually dive into that kind of stuff. And that's what Google wants. It doesn't want us writing about topics that aren't what we do. Now, what you can do is if you want to have those kind of topics. So for example, let's say you want to write a blog about somebody's credit score. You want to give them advice on improving their credit score. Now, Google may already believe you're an authority on that because you're talking about buying where credit score is related to buying a house, and you're a real estate agent. It's possible Google will say you already are an authority just based on that connection, but they may not. And as a extra, it might be a good idea to have your accountant come in, or somebody in that realm, or a credit score repair person that is reputable as a credit score repair person. Fact check your blog and then put a little bio at the bottom of it. This blog was written by Lori Ballen, realtor, and fact checked by so-and-so CPA. And then you do a little 1 or 2 line bio on that person's credentials. And then Google will say, okay, now this has authority. You know, I did my team, not me, my team did a big article on blood pressure on keto, and it went nowhere. And I was baffled by this. I'm like, gosh, that was a killer blog. It was long form content. It was several thousand words. I know it's competitive, but where it's related to keto, and I really truly believe it's because they know that that's not my specialty. She's keto for weight loss. She's not keto for health and whatnot, which is more blood pressure. And so it makes me bring back where I should be focusing. Now, let's just say you want to get started in this hyper-local blogging, and you're saying, okay, Lori, that sounds great. How do I get started? Okay. All right. What you want to do is you want to start blogging about what's popular in your town. Everybody's going to be different. Okay. In Vegas, it's so easy. In Vegas, it's weddings. It's things to do on the strip, things to do with your boyfriend, things to do for adventure, you know, all of that kind of stuff are really big. Pools, water parks, and then holidays, where to go see holiday lights, where to go for Mother's Day, where to go for 4th of July, where, you know, that's big in most places. If you're in a smaller town, you might have things like farmers markets, strawberry festivals, fairs. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of some of the things that some of my other clients have talked to me about. And you can talk about those kind of things. If sports is big in your area, talk about sports, but talk about it in a local way. I'm getting now leads and buyers that actually Google homes for sale near Golden Knights Arena, home for sale near the new baseball. You can tell I'm so not into sports. I don't even know all the names. But we have now Vegas has a professional hockey team, a professional baseball team, and coming in professional football team. So now sports are a big deal out here. So I'm seeing a lot more ticks on my website related to things to do for sports. So here's how I keep it smaller and more niche focused and easier to bite off the smaller things. I go over to Groupon and I type in things to do, and then I sort by popularity, and their highest popularity tells me that's where the demand is right now. And I like to work on evergreen content, things that are going to live forever, more than I do things that just expire. Those are tougher to keep up with. I want to do them, but I'm going to need a team to do that. Right now, I really am focused more on the evergreen stuff. So like farmers markets that are recurring every Thursday, or murder by hire dinner show. And, you know, one of my top ones is one of our dueling piano bars. I actually make affiliate income from sending them over to the dueling piano bar. So whatever it is in your market, that's the type of stuff. You want to be talking about things like everything from weather, transportation, new construction, you know, what's new in your town? What are people excited about? Where is their buzz around? One of the niches I fell into by accident is weddings, because I actually just did a blog, and I can't even believe that it ranks. I know that sounds funny since that's what I do for a living, but weddings being so competitive, I wouldn't even think I'd be on page 1 of Google because I don't really have anything to do with weddings. But Google believes I'm a Las Vegas specialist, and weddings are related to Las Vegas, so I'm sure that's why I'm getting the authority that I am for weddings. And so I'm usually on page 1 for various terms around weddings. And then I stumbled into, by looking at the back end of my keyword reports, I could see that I was doing well for mother of the bride stuff. And so I'm like, oh, I can do a bunch more stuff on that. So you kind of, as you start building, your tools can tell you where else to be building. So you guys have any questions? Seen a lot of you guys pop in. I know this is a topic that isn't super popular in real estate because hardly anybody is doing it. Did I strike any chords with you guys? Did anybody have any questions on the hyperlocal stuff, real estate stuff, affiliate stuff? Is it maybe getting your wheels turning just a little bit? On Monday, I'm doing a 5-day training along with Sabrina, my daughter, and we're going to be bringing you 2 hours each day on all of this type of thing. Everything from social media and Pinterest ads and Google and blogging and search engine optimization and all that. So if this is something that interests you, there's absolutely no reason that you guys should not have your admins working on this, your college kids, your high school kids. So for example, my teenager went to one of the escape rooms for her birthday, and I had done a blog on it, so now she got a bunch of pictures, and so now I could put pictures on there, but I could say, hey, Tabs, I'll give you $10. Of course, she would want more than that probably. I'll give you $20. Do me a video blog on what you thought of the escape room. How did you like it? What are your thoughts? What were your favorite things about it? Put some pictures in there because she's great at video editing, like jazzing that stuff up. And then what I could do is I could use Temi, which is a video software transcriber, for 10 cents a minute, and I could turn her video into a written word blog. So if I don't want to sit and type it all up, I could make her video transcribed and then it would do it for me, right? So we have to get clever about this. What if you talk to your home inspector and said, hey, home inspector, once a month, could you get me a video or a blog that's unique to me, that's special for me, you're going to make it for me, on what's important about when you're inspecting a house, when you're buying a house, what should people be aware of? Talk to your home stager about what's important about prepping your home for sale. You could talk to your escrow company or title company or your lawyer, whatever it is in your state, and they can talk about the process. How about your lender? Your lender, once a month. Talk to us about FHA loan limits. Talk to us about jumbo loans. Talk to us about how does a millennial buy a house? What credit score do you need to buy a house? I mean, oh my gosh, that should be at least a once a month, have your lender do it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that keeps you relevant, local, special. Guys, you don't have to do video. You don't have to do blogging. But if you did one or the other and really started doing it at a high level, it might surprise you what that could turn into and what kind of security that could give you, right? And if you did both, like we do, I mean, holy cow, it's fantastic. That's some really cool stuff in there. So things to do for Mother's Day was a big hit for me. Right before that was things to do for Easter, and now we have coming up. I don't get much for fathers. Sorry. I don't know. There's just not as much stuff for fathers. Maybe I should do one on Father's Day gifts and see how that one goes over. Maybe I should do one on golf, all about golf for Father's Day. I don't know. I don't know what do we do for Father's Day. And then after that, the next big one. Okay, right now, what's big is summer camps. Summer camps. Where do people take their kids during the summer? Those are big. I'm getting a lot of traffic from that right now. And even if you don't have affiliate income, if you have the ability to put an ad or two on there, you could start generating some income from people just hitting those blogs, right? Very cool to watch that happen. And then after that, we have my next best one, seasonality wise, is fireworks. Where to go see the fireworks. So if you've got something like that happening in your neck of the woods, you can actually start working on that blog now and watch what that turns into. So I don't see any questions. Oh, Caitlin, start a team down here. Yeah. Did you see my post the other day? I posted on Facebook that I should never ever work with people again. That's how much I do not want to go build another team. And it wasn't against my real estate team by any means whatsoever. I just meant that the whole leadership thing is hard. My favorite thing about what I'm doing right now is that it doesn't require me to. Sabrina and I are doing it together, but she works at her place and I work at my place, and we just know what to do and we just groove and go. But I don't want to have to be sitting there watching people coming and going all the time. Any other questions, you guys? I saw a lot of you watching. I'm curious about your thoughts. Okay, love the info. Were you just digesting? Usually there's a lot more conversation happening. So it looks like you guys are just digesting this. All right. Well, hope to see you Monday through Friday next week. Also, Ballen Academy has moved to a new platform. It's open. It's live. You can get the whole academy for $49 a month. Or you can get individual courses and own them, including all the updates, or you could do a lifetime. I've got the keto course in there. I've got my monthly keto program. I've got courses in Ballen Academy now on SEO, on Pinterest, on affiliate marketing, on WordPress. Gosh, I don't know. There's like 20 different courses in there, I think there is right now. Plus, we have the whole Ballen Method to Marketing bundle for $49 a month. Can't beat it. BallenAcademy.com. All right, I'm going to go get my kid, and I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.